here he is on feeling more confident after being benched for several games for Mike White, who won't be playing tonight due to a rib injury.
I think in my first, year and a half, I just realized how much of a business this really is, and I played football my entire life, for the fun of it and how fun it is. And, sometimes, more money, more problems, right? And for me, it's how can I just bring that fun back? How can I just enjoy being here? And through that reset process, how can I go out to a practice and just be like, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy being out here and throwing the ball around, doing things that I love to do and spending time with the guys, because that's truly, the most important parts. And so that's kind of been the goal for me.
More money, more problems. I need to play the piano on him. Good Lord, that's a dated reference, right? That's at least 20 years old, isn't it?
Well, Notorious
B.I.G.
Notorious B.I.G. That's more than 20 years old. That's probably mid to late 90s there, but it's still very popular, and of course a very common phrase that's thrown around because of that song. But
and he's getting his education. He's
100%.
It's easy for you. Football's easy for you at every level. That's how you get to the NFL. You've been dominant in comparison to everyone else around you. And then you get to a point where you're not so dominant anymore.
Right.
You've hit your ceiling. That's the one thing. That's why the draft is so inaccurate. A general manager told me years ago, every guy that comes out of college football, his ceiling is somewhere between exactly where he is right now and the Hall of Fame. And there's no way to know where he's going to land until you bring him to the NFL and see how he competes and see how he thrives or doesn't against NFL caliber players, period. That's the only way to find out, is to just go out and do it and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. You're right. I mean, you try to take little things of knowledge and players of past and try to paste it together and what you see on film and what you think works for the current NFL, and you make educated, guesses that way. But yeah, it's not foolproof, to your point. And I think it's a common struggle with guys that are talented. You said it right. Yeah, it's, football's fun. It was easy all the time. Oh, hey, I can be in this position and just woo and throw it sidearm and I'm still awesome and everybody's telling me how great I am. Yeah, that's fine. But in the NFL, there's a balance between that business and fun, and you can't just be careless sometimes and be like, oh, yeah, it's fun to throw the ball with my, feet cockeyed and sidearm and just let it down the field. Yeah, but you're going to get people fired, and you're going to get fired, and it's going to ruin people's lives. That's where you got to realize it's the business part of it, and people are trying to make more money and have long careers. Now, you see some of these plays here. Again, this is where I'm trying to argue for him a little bit. This ain't not this play. All right, that's the Zach Wilson that everyone is scared of, and we see about 1-2 throws like that every game. Whether they get intercepted or not, we don't know. And of course, this became a social media thing as well. But at the same time, I want to go, wait, they can't run the ball. They didn't pass protect very well. Right? And we've seen a few plays already here where you go, damn, that's a high-level throw. And the ball comes out of his hand in a way that I think is special. Even this play, I mean, the ability to get out of this. So that's all I've been arguing, Mike, is I see high-end talent from the guy. Yeah, he needs some polish. He's got to fix some things. He makes the easy things hard, and he makes the hard things look easy, oddly enough. But we'll see. Tonight's a night where they're playing a Jacksonville Jaguar defense that's not that great. There's some talented players at certain spots, but we've seen teams run the ball and throw the ball on them and have a day that way. And it's not a defensive line that's, for Jacksonville, even though they got the number one pick, they're not great at rushing the passer, and they're not great at stopping the run. So, the Jets might have a chance to have a little balanced play-action pass, and he might have some favorable matchups with Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson running down the field against this defense tonight.
No Trayvon Walker, the first overall pick in the 2022 draft for the Jaguars
still banged
tonight,
up.
And he's had quietly a pretty good season. The Zach Wilson conundrum.
Yeah.
It's the whole Patrick Mahomes thing, to bring your son up again, right? Wanting to throw sidearm,
100%.
wanting to do all the things Patrick Mahomes does. The kids want to throw the football that way now. And what was clear to me from talking to Patrick Mahomes on Sunday, they practice those moments where all hell breaks loose and he goes into what he called panic mode. And Coach Reed still gets upset with him when he makes a dumb throw when he's got the freedom to go do whatever he does. And the only reason he's still doing that 5 years later is because it's effective. If you're not effective playing football that way, you're not going to last, and you're going to end up on the bench like Zach Wilson. It's the ultimate meritocracy. If you're good, you play. If you're not, you don't. And Zach Wilson does have the high-end ability. And I think what frustrates a coaching staff, Chris, and I think this frustrates anybody in any line of work, when you have an employee who can do the hard stuff really well,
right,
but keeps tripping and falling over the easy stuff.
100%.
That drives you crazy because you think it's just a matter of not being properly focused and disciplined, because you can do the things that people can't do, but you won't do the things that everyone can do.
Yes, you're saying it right, and that's where he's got to become more of a machine, and that's where I think his physical skills it's like the gift and the curse conversation. Well, yeah, my whole life I've been able to just have my feet cockeyed and throw the ball however I want. Well, yeah, but there was room for error. I mean, it was college football, it was high school football. A guy being open in those leagues, and that football is, they're separated by 4 and 5 yards, so you can be a little off target. Now that same throw, no, it's got to be on the money. It's the NFL. When the guy's open, he's open by like 3 inches, so there's no wiggle room. So you got to be a machine. And even a guy, Mike, to your point, you're like, exactly, Mahomes has reined it in. He's reined it in. Like, compared to last year where he was all over the place and doing crazy stuff for especially the first part of the year, this year he's really a technical wizard. That's one thing I've kind of said on my podcast a lot, my Wednesday podcast, especially when I break down film, is his mechanics are off the charts good. And then, hey, when he's got to rely on like what you're talking about, panic mode, or wait, it's a 3rd and 4 and there is somebody over the middle, and wait, my only chance to get him the ball is to actually do it, throw a sidearm or do that, then he breaks it out. But the problem with Zach Wilson is, to what you're saying, he was breaking it out sometimes when you're going, there's no reason to. The pocket's fine. Pop your feet in place, get your shoulder in there and hit the target. And instead he's like throwing it sidearm, and you're like, why? So you can't just throw it sidearm because it's cool and it's fun and I want to be like Patrick Mahomes. And that's what I think we're talking about here, Mike. It's, the cart before the horse, or the horse before the cart there. You got to be a machine first before you can start.
Cart before the horse.
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I chickened out.
You got to put the horse before the cart.
Yeah. But, he's got to.
And you know what? You know what's in the cart? You know what's in the cart?
What's that?
A haystack with a diamond in it.
Oh, bam. Woo.
Yeah.
I want a weed stack with a diamond in it. That would be better. I'd like that.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I thought of you on Saturday at the airport. A guy walked by me as I was waiting to board the plane, and I have never smelled weed more strongly on a human being in my entire life. And to the point where I wonder if his nose has become completely desensitized to it. Like, how do you even get through security? How do you get through anywhere?
Right.
When it's just a cloud? It's like Pigpen from the Peanuts, how he always had a cloud around him.
Yeah.
This was a cloud of dank, strong. It was like I did a double take.
Like he was hotboxing in the car on the way to the airport. And then,
yeah. That's what my son. I told my son. He said, "Yeah, he smoked the whole way. That's what happens." Oh, how do you know, son? Oh, I just heard those things.
That's the rumor on the streets.
Here's the forecast: heavy rain and wind gusts tonight at MetLife Stadium, where it's always windy, even when it's not. The over/under has fallen from 42 to 37. The Jets are favored by 1.5 points. So, it should be fun. We're getting down to the end. There are only 2 more Thursday night games.
Crazy.
This week, next week, and that's it.
Yeah.
So enjoy it while it lasts. Although, I remember when the schedule first came out and I saw Jaguars-Jets week 16. It's like,
yeah, it was like, oh, come on.
Al's gonna have the flu that night. Al's not gonna. But it got better. At first, it got better because the Jets were better than expected, and now it's good because the Jaguars are better than expected, and they're in the playoff chase. So this is actually a pretty good game.
It really is. They're both fighting for it. I mean, it's desperation time. It really is. So that's where it's going to be awesome. And Mike, I'm glad you went with the weather because that seems like it's going to be a real issue up here. That's really kind of the downfall of all of it. To where I want to see Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, make plays and throw the ball over the field. But, I mean, they're talking like gale warnings up here and coastal flooding. Where I live, and I'm about 25, 27 miles north of MetLife Stadium, where they're talking about 1 to 2 inches of rain tonight. So we might see one of those type of games, which I don't want to see. I don't like that. I want to see two teams in the playoff race being able to play at their highest level and not have, slop fest, slick ball affect things. But it's definitely going to be a part of the game, it sounds like, tonight.
There definitely is a coastal flood warning. I'm looking at that now.
Yeah.
The temperature is not going to be all that bad, though. It's going to be 46 and rising around kickoff, but the rain is just all day blue. Rain.
It's rain. Tomorrow it's going to be 54 degrees here, but then at night it's going to be 8 degrees. So that's where I guess we're going to get the wind and whatever else. But, this could lead to some interesting plays tonight with the wind and rain.
1.6 inches of rain today. So if you go to the game tonight, wear your G.I. Joe rain slicker. I think they had a G.I. Joe. Or they had a scuba suit. They had the G.I. Joe scuba suit. That's what it was.
I remember the
with
scuba
the goggles.
Suit. Yeah.
Yes, and flippers.
Right.
Yes. And you took them in the sink. We had a stationary tub between the washer and the dryer in the basement at my house with a hose on it, and I'd fill up that sink, and I'd put G.I. Joe in there, and then all the hair on his head and his beard would come out. Once he got wet, that was it, and they knew it. They had to have known that, and they lured you to put him underwater with all that scuba stuff, but the moment you put him in water, the hair fell out. All right.
Yeah. What are the Jaguars? Did I see the Jaguars, trolling the New York Jets, New Jersey thing a little bit?
Look, I appreciate any Sopranos reference whenever and however it's made, but comedy is hard. The Instagram and Twitter thing from the Jaguars social media team, and I don't want to start any trouble with anyone associated with the Jaguars franchise like Jackson DeVille. I don't think Jackson made this. They're outside of Satry Isles. I don't know T. They're called the New York Jets, but we're flying to Jersey. That's the joke.
Yeah.
So
hey, you
nice
better
try.
watch your freaking back, Jacksonville Jaguars.
You got to hold your hand a certain way like Paulie Walnuts would do.
Yeah.
I don't know T.
Yeah.
I don't know T. But I again, good idea. A for effort. Work on the execution. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.